I'm excited about my next guest on the phone. His name is Casey. He's the owner of the Seed Company, which you've heard about for diabetes, you heard about for weight loss, you heard about for lupus, you heard about for arthritis, you heard about for cancer. Hey, Casey, tell us about the Seed Nutrition without telling the name of the products for us, please. I want to kind of draw them in and have them follow us. You don't mind, Casey?
Yeah, no problem, Doc. We appreciate the time that you've allowed me to join you. I'm excited to be able to share a little bit about what we're doing. And as you said, our focus is seed-based nutrition. That's the gist of what we do. Our concentration is that, and we've found some of the best seeds that are around the world that give us the nutrients that our bodies need. And as you know, living in today's world with a lot of fast foods, preservatives, issues with allergies, I mean, you see it more and more, it's kind of baffling when you start talking about all the things that are plaguing society from a nutritional standpoint. We found a lot of great solutions working with seeds and seed technology, and it really just boils back down to the diet and getting our bodies what our bodies need. As you know, our bodies are designed to heal themselves, to take care of themselves, and do what it needs to do to survive. It's been that way from the beginning of time. But when you don't eat right and you don't have the right nutrition in the right concentrations, all those things that you just rattled off happen. And it's just a direct reflection of bad habits. And really, a lot of times, it's not even necessarily bad habits. It's just people just don't know what they don't know. But that's what we do here at our companies. We focus on providing seed-based nutrition, dense concentration of nutrients, so our bodies can do, what they need to do. And our main focus is a seed called black cumin seed. And if you guys don't know about this, you need to go on and check it out. Go do some homework tonight. Google black cumin seed and read about what benefits come from the use of black cumin seed. But one of the biggest things that we see with black cumin is the reduction of inflammation in the cell. One of our products, we did a study on it, and it has black cumin seed, the entire seed. We actually grabbed the seed and put it through a cold press process to not damage the enzymes and the important pieces that are found only in the seed husk. But we took that particular product to a lab to evaluate what it was doing for people with, dealing with different things with inflammation. Some of those things, Doc, like you mentioned. And the results came back, and they were awesome. They came back and showed that this particular flagship product that we have will reduce inflammation by 33% with zero toxicity in the cell. Now, when you talk to a medical professional about that, they're kind of like, come on, what are you talking about here? Because they understand that pretty much, if not all, disease comes from too much cellular inflammation. And so if we can get rid of that and reduce that, crazy things happen for people. I mean, my own family, my mom was dealing with arthritis. She got on this particular product, used it for 3 weeks, called me on the phone one day and says, hey, what is this thing that you're actually doing? And we talked for a little bit, and she explained to me how she'd had arthritis, and I didn't even know it, but her pain went away, and the inflammation on her wrist was gone. She had big bumps on her wrist, from arthritis, and it was gone. And that was my own family. That was kind of like one of the first experiences that I had with it. But, there's been now since tens of thousands of people around the globe that have been on this particular product that are seeing amazing results. There's, our company is in 46 countries now and continuing to expand, and it's just because people need this. They need seed-based nutrition.
Hey, Casey, I had called you, Casey, with a fellow on the phone with diabetes, and you told us about a fellow in Mexico with diabetes. Can you please tell us about that, please, you don't mind?
Yeah, so it's probably been 2.5 years ago. I was down in Mexico City, one of the countries that we're open in. We were doing an event, and I met a gentleman who was there, and they said, "You got to hear this guy's story." And so we were doing the meeting. We invited him up in front of everybody, and he started to tell his story. Gentleman's name is Martin, and he had before and after pictures up that he had on a slideshow, and was showing us what had happened to him. Now, he is a person who's suffering from diabetes, and as many of you guys know, it's one of those horrible diseases that they're really calling it a true pandemic down in Mexico right now, because there's so many people, not only just that have diabetes but are dying from it. And this particular gentleman, had diabetes. It was severe. His feet had gone to the point where they were extremely swollen. One of them had a great big ulcer that had opened up on his foot. And when you get to that point, really that's where you lose a limb, or they'll cut away whatever toe or foot or whatever's affected. That's usually where people start losing extremities, and that was the case for Martin. He went to 3 different doctors, and all 3 of them had the same prognosis, saying, "Hey, we got to take this foot, or you're going to be in jeopardy for the rest of yourself." So when you hear that kind of news, obviously that's probably the worst thing that anyone could hear. And his daughter got online and was looking around for things, and came across this particular product that we're talking about, has black cumin seed in it, and said, "Hey, we really don't have anything to lose. Let's give this a shot. People are saying that it's helping." And so they did. They bought a box of this particular product, had it shipped to their home, and he got on it and was taking just one packet a day of this particular product. And before you know it, was about 2 weeks into the process, and he started noticing that his coloration in his foot, the circulation was starting to get better. About 3 weeks into the process, they noticed that the ulcer started to kind of shrink up, and it was looking like it was healing. When I met him, it was about 7 weeks into the process. He was wearing his shoe, and he was telling me that was the first time in almost a year that he'd had a shoe on. He'd had to walk around without, because his feet were so inflamed and swollen from the diabetes that he couldn't even put a shoe on. But when I saw him, he was walking around fine. He said he used to, he was using a cane for most of the time, and he didn't have his cane, and he was super excited and happy, and he was sharing us, that experience. But the reality is what happened to him is he just got rid of inflammation in his body, and that's what diabetes is. It's an inflammatory problem that can be fixed. It does. You don't have to sit around and wait and just continue to use insulin and try to just manage it. You can actually turn it around by eating right and getting the right nutrition into your body. It's phenomenal, and that was just one case. I mean, there's been thousands of those around the globe now that we've seen.
In Casey, usually when a person call me with a condition, I call you. I had on one of my business partners with diabetes, and you told him to take the seed nutrition, what to take, but take it twice a day. And when you told him that in 2 weeks, he'd be off of metformin in 2 weeks, I got nervous. I said, 2 weeks? 2 weeks, I got nervous. And he did it, and I get a phone call on day 10. Doc, it's gone. I said, what's gone? I couldn't believe it, Casey. I couldn't believe it. So what you're saying that we have the answer through the seed nutrition for diabetes, Casey?
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, I mean, obviously when we talk about these things, it's a little bit of a fine line, because we don't treat, diagnose, or cure, obviously. But the reality is here's what I found, is when your body has what it needs, things change. And it is, diabetes just happens to be one of those things that this particular seed it really works well on. And then there's the cool thing about this is there's a ton of research and studies that have been done outside of our company, just on with doctors and other labs that have looked at the power of seed nutrition, and there's patents that exist around this. So yeah, it does make people a little bit nervous because usually a nutritional product isn't going to have those types of rapid effects, but in this particular case, yeah, it does. It just works. People get back on track and they start feeling better, and kind of the rest is history. It really is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it's a blessing, honestly. I think is probably the best way to describe it, where we've got solutions for people that are in need. And again, it's not that these are miracle products or that they're going to cure all the time, but the reality is you get on it, your body knows what to do with dense concentration of nutrition. And it just kind of makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of us already know this, even when we were kids. When we start playing around and they have us put the little bean inside of a Dixie cup with a little dirt and we water it and it grows, right? Well, all of the nutrition that we have that is whole and clean and vegan and natural, like what everyone's looking for, it all stems from the seed. But the cool thing about the seed is science has shown that there's massive concentration, like we've been discussing, but 20 to 30 times more concentration gram for gram than the fruit and vegetable that these seeds represent. So using the seed, it's just better. There's kind of no really other way to explain it. It's a better way. It's a better process. It's a concentrated process, and when you get that into your body does what it needs to do. So,
now,
yeah,
Casey,
a lot of cool stuff.
And after going through that with the diabetes, I had confidence in the product because this is all seed nutrition. Case was all new to me. This is new. I do the juice, the leaf, the oil, but never the seed. New to me. I get a phone call from someone that had cancer. So I call you on the phone, and you told about a fellow that had cancer of the brain. We don't cure cancer, folks, of the brain. And you told me, tell her what to do. And so we won't give out the website now for all these 30,000 testimonies. But Casey, and we just interviewed her on this site, on this platform, how she had the cancer that killed that Steve Jobs and Aretha Franklin, and what we gave her, which is Eat Nutrition, and the platform that I gave her, 33 days, they can find it. Like another thing, Casey, two more things. I have a neighbor and a friend, a single mom, that has MS, and having young kids could barely walk and barely move and all that, and I called you. You said we have testimonies of people taking this nutrition with MS. You even sent me a video of a lady with MS, and we put her on the seed nutrition, Casey. And like a week or so later, her 12-year-old son asked Mom, are you okay? Why? You got up and cooked dinners for us for the first time in years. Casey, on the seed nutrition. And then she went bowling with her kids, getting her life back. Now, Casey, we're in a pandemic called COVID-19, and we got that black cumin seed. We got that turmeric. We got something made with greens that we take in a packet. How many green smoothies does that one packet cover, Casey?
Yeah, well, the one that you're talking about has the equivalency between, depending obviously on what kind of green smoothies you're doing, but usually it's about 7 to even 8 green smoothies in a 1 ounce packet. It's that concentrated with some ingredients that people they call superfoods. Things like kale and spirulina and the phenomenal ingredients that are in there. But there's also juice seeds that are unbelievable. I don't know if much of you guys know about milk thistle seed, but it's super powerful for detoxifying and cleansing the liver. In fact, over in Taiwan, it's considered a drug. It works so well. So you actually have to have a prescription in Taiwan to take milk thistle seed.
Wow.
You know, who knew? So, but yeah, that's in that particular product, as well as cranberry seed, which is great for kidney support. So yeah, cool, awesome, great products that really they do. It's like what you just said, Doc. It gives us our life back. It gives us the options again. People that are dealing with these things, they don't need to, but you've got to get the nutrition into your body so your body can take care of itself and do what it needs to do.
You know what? I take these products, Casey, as my health insurance. As my health insurance to ensure that I'm going to have good health. As my health insurance, Casey.
Yeah.
And Casey.
Well, that's the smart way to do it, Doc. I mean, I think a lot of times, as we've been in this industry, people that have spent a lot of time in nutrition or in the world of health, I mean, that's usually what happens. People kind of, instead of prevent, they wait, right? They wait until the doctor says, okay, now you've got diabetes, or now you've got to take this particular, drug the rest of your life, which then creates other side effects, as we know.
Now,
but there is option. There's options. There's things that you can do so you do not have to have that. You can prevent a lot of the things that others are going to go through and face. And I don't think we've seen have scratched the surface on what's going to come. I think we're in trouble. Like you talked about the other day, we were talking about this pandemic and the things that are going around on the world and the issues with logistics, supply chain. And
yes,
people are going to have some issues. We've got
I have a good friend, Casey, that called me that he learned about the seed nutrition with diabetes. He couldn't get his insulin for 2 months. And finally, he ordered the seed nutrition. Hey, Casey, what are the products, Casey? People are worried about a food shortage. And that green smoothie, Casey, I got to be honest, I don't take it every day because why? I'm not hungry. I forget to eat. It fills me up. One product fills me up.
Yeah.
One product. Yeah. Now, the last thing, Casey, we in this pandemic, in my opinion, that if you have one thing in your body increase drastically, can help you beat this pandemic. It's called vitamin D. And you created a vitamin D out of seed nutrition, Casey. It's made out of sheepskin. Out of seed nutrition, Casey. And added with tomato seed. Tell us about that, Casey, you don't mind.
Yeah, no, this is a brand new product that came out in September. We were fortunate enough and have the good fortune to work with the University of Maryland on this particular one. They do a lot of our research and development, and they're just a great group to have behind the scenes here helping us with this. But yeah, we created a vitamin D3 supplement that has, and it comes from reindeer lichen. If you want to go look up that, it's a pretty interesting little thing that is grown up in the Arctic. But this reindeer lichen, it's completely vegan source, which is not normal. Normally, like you said, Doc, vitamin D3 is derived from some sort of an animal byproduct, which obviously, as we know, that can cause inflammation in and of itself if you take too much of it. And most of the time, too, when people take vitamin D3, the digestive system has the tendency to really just break it down and not absorb it. It just passes kind of through your system. So even people that are taking vitamin D3 supplements don't have like optimal levels of D3 in their blood when you do an analysis and take it to the lab. So it really is, this is a particular interesting product. As you mentioned, it's got that particular the reindeer lichen, but you mentioned the tomato seed oil that's in it as well, which is phenomenal for boosting the immune system. And it's super powerful antioxidant that's also in here. But this is cool product. It's been micronized, and so the absorption rates that this has compared to others, it's I mean, really kind of uncomparable. It really is such a good product because it does absorb into the system. It's a little spray. You squirt it in your mouth. You can take it a couple of times a day if you want. We've got people that have done morning and night. There's people that are, the recommended dosage is just kind of take a few of sprays in the morning. But yeah, it's unbelievable what we've seen with the results. We ran a study prior to launching the product. We put 14 people on it, and in every case, everyone's vitamin D levels increased. And, we showed this to a few doctors, and they were floored. They're like, if you can even increase it a little bit, you're doing well.
And Casey, I'm finding people, Casey, that I know personally, numbers going up 50 or 60 points in 2 weeks. That's unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah. Well, that's a direct result of the micronization. They're actually, for the first time, getting the absorption the way that they should. And think about what that does for people, Doc. I mean, as you know, having vitamin D in your body is an essential component to a lot of the functions of the different systems. It's not just a system. It's, the immune system is one that you think of, but a lot of different systems are dependent upon good levels of vitamin D. And then you think of people that, with depression and things like that going on in today's world. This is a great thing to put into your blood, into your diet, so you can start to feel like yourself again. I mean, really, that's kind of the best way to describe it.
And I want everybody to hear our voice to go research Dr. Fauci, what he said about vitamin D, research vitamin D and COVID-19, how they're saying that if it's high enough, you can't get sick from the disease. If you get sick, you won't feel the symptoms of COVID-19 high enough. And in my opinion, there's no vitamin D in the world like this one, Casey. None of them like this one.
No.
Hey, Casey, now let's talk about side effects of these products. Casey, my hair grow back so fast, my nails back so fast, and I don't like going to the barber shop, Casey, once a week. Once a week. Cutting my nails once a week. And also, Casey, we have people with very bad psoriasis and eczema, skin conditions. We got one product, you rub it on the skin, it has a black cumin seeds in it. What does it do for psoriasis and eczema, Casey?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's all back to that same issue. Psoriasis, eczema, what are they? It's an inflammatory issue. And when you get rid of it, you start to decrease the inflammation. You see it in your skin. You can put it on topically, but I tell people to do both. You should be taking it internally and putting it on topically, and it just increases those effects.
They're going to be amazed, Casey, amazed in a couple of weeks what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's shocking. It really is shocking.
Yes.
You talk to dermatologists, and they don't really have a lot of good options for psoriasis. It's one of those things they're like, well, that's too bad for you, that you've got that, but that's not the case. There's ways to get around that, to get that fixed, and people can become healthy and really get their life back. I watched, I met a woman over in Japan, and this is kind of one of the first, it's kind of been down there. I mean, it was probably 4 or 5 years into this process when I met them. I went over to Japan, and I was sitting in an apartment complex with her and a couple of her friends and another gentleman and our translator, and they were telling me a story about her 14-year-old son that had severe psoriasis, and they showed me pictures of him. I mean, when you go on and Google it, look at severe psoriasis on the face, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But they showed me these pictures, and I just felt terrible for the kid. And they'd taken him to all kinds of dermatologists. It wasn't a question about finances. They went everywhere. I mean, they had give him steroid creams and shots and everything you could think of to try to get that situation reversed, and nothing worked. And then, again, a lady found this online, saw some people down in Malaysia that were having some success by using this particular product, and their eczema and psoriasis was disappearing. And so she said, hey, give this a shot, call their friend. said, you need to get on this product, get your son on this product to try it out. So they did. About 2.5 weeks on it, he came home, and the first time as a teenager, he was going to go out and hang out with his friends. He wasn't wearing a hoodie covering his face and his head, because your skin it falls off. It's just nasty. And for the first time, he was headed out to play with his friends. And, his mom, obviously, you tell him the story, was crying, and we were all crying. And, I mean, you think about that. I mean, we're talking about a young 14-year-old boy got his life back. He actually was going to be able to live a normal life because of the power of seed-based nutrition. And so I tell people, this is really bigger than me. It's bigger than really anyone. It's bigger than all of us. There's solutions out here, and we have the obligation to let people know that there's solutions. They don't need to suffer. They don't need to have to deal with these things. You can fix it. And Power of Seeds is unbelievable for that.
And Casey, a lot of the black church is going to hear this. In the black church, the diabetes, we talked about that. In the black church, the hypertension. We're getting people, Casey, blood pressures 190 over 100. In 2 weeks, Casey, down to 120 over 68 with the seed nutrition. In the black church, we talked about ED already. Women with hot flashes, history with the seed nutrition. Women with menstrual cramps, history, seed nutrition. In the black church, the glaucoma, the cataracts. We're going to talk about that the next caller, cataracts, the seed nutrition. So, Casey, I want the black church to understand. I take these products because why? This is my health insurance plan. Because why? We pay our car insurance, right, Casey? To make
Absolutely.
Sure if our car breaks down, we get it fixed. This is my health insurance plan to keep my body fixed in balance. Casey, I want to thank you, Casey, and I'm so excited that the Lord hooked us up together, because I would have never known. I did the CBD oils, I did the capsules, I did the leaf, I did the juices, I did it all, Casey, as a doctor. But I never even considered going to the seed. 30 times more potent, I mean powerful. So I wanted the black church to hear this, Casey, because I tell my students the sickest place on Sunday is the black church. Not the hospital, the black church. Thank you, Casey. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Well, I appreciate the invite. And yeah, guys, give it a shot. There's nothing like it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye now.
All right.
Everyone wants to be healthy, and we should be. Our Creator designed an amazing, complex system intended to allow our body to heal itself if we give it what it needs. For example, if you cut your finger, it bleeds, a scab forms, and it heals. However, when our body does not receive what it needs, it begins to talk to us. It talks to us through symptoms or physical manifestations of disease. So, if your body is talking to you, you need to listen to Dr. Michael Vincent. Start your wellness journey today. Visit Dr. Vincent's website at www.vincentclinic.com or dial toll-free 888-842-3935 or 888-84-BEWELL. Be well